Have you ever wondered what heaven sounded like before the first crack of rebellion split the sky? Picture a realm where every breath glowed, where music burned brighter than the sun, and where the greatest masterpiece in all creation was not a galaxy, but an angel named Lucifer. In this flawless kingdom, order was everything. Seraphim blazed like living flames, singing holy, holy, holy without pause. Cherubim guarded vaults of unimaginable knowledge. Archangels, tall as mountains, delivered gods were like thunderbolts. And soaring above them all, with a brilliance so intense it left trails of color in the air, flew Lucifer, the morning star. He wasn't just beautiful. He was the standard by which beauty itself was measured. The other angels called him the seal of perfection, and they meant it. Every feather of his wings caught light at a different angle, scattering rainbows that danced across the marble clouds. When Lucifer spoke, time itself seemed to lean closer, eager to hear him. "Brothers," Lucifer announced, his voice smooth as rushing water, "lift your hearts. The Father listens." A million wings rustled in reverence. The universe inhaled. He raised his hands. A symphony roared to life. Notes formed spirals of color, wrapping each star in pure sound. Galaxies pulsed like lanterns. The other angels followed his lead without hesitation, because Lucifer's passion felt like gravity, pulling everyone toward praise. Even Michael admired him. The warrior of light, unshakable on the battlefield, once whispered to Gabriel, if beauty were a song, Lucifer would be its first and last note. It was no exaggeration. Heaven's harmony flowed through him as naturally as breath. Day after eternal day, Lucifer walked those fiery stones, speaking with the Creator face to face. God delighted in him, and the angels rejoiced. There was no hint of storm on the horizon, only an ocean of peace that seemed it could never end. But paradise is delicate, like a mirror that shows only what you choose to see. And in the silent corridors of his own thoughts, Lucifer noticed something curious. Whenever he sang, creation brightened. Whenever he moved, galaxies shifted course as though making room. A sliver of wonder crept in. Is my light truly my own? One evening, as stardust snowed softly over the celestial gardens, Gabriel approached him.
Morning star, your glow seems restless tonight. What stirs within you?
Nothing unholy, brother. Only questions. Can a flame ever burn too bright?
Gabriel opened his mouth to answer, but words failed. For how do you reassure the brightest being alive that his brilliance is safe? Meanwhile, the cosmos kept spinning in perfect rhythm, unaware that a single unanswered question had begun to grow roots. Lucifer still led the choirs, still set the stars ablaze with song. Yet each note carried a secret echo. What if? He walked the mount again, but this time the path felt narrow. He gazed upon the river of fire, but its warmth felt cooler. Even the seraphim's anthem, once a rush of joy, sounded like a chain of duty. Free will, the greatest gift, was also the portal to doubt. One by one, subtle changes appeared. Lucifer lingered after rehearsals, staring at his reflection in pools of liquid light. He traced the arc of his wing, studying how it refracted color. Perfect, he thought, and the words sparked pride like flint on steel. Still, heaven slept. The other angels saw only the gleam, not the growing fracture beneath. They cheered when Lucifer spoke, because his charisma felt like sunrise. How could a sunrise betray you? Yet, on the edge of eternity, a storm none could imagine was gathering heat. He turned the ash between his fingers and whispered, "Amazing. Even my loss is beautiful." The thought startled him, but he didn't reject it. He tucked it away like a secret ember. Thus ended the age of absolute light. A hairline crack appeared in an unbreakable mirror, invisible yet fatal. And somewhere far beyond the fields of time, destiny exhaled, knowing the first domino had tipped. The Hall of Fire was heaven's forge of purpose. Here, angels received their missions, and destinies were tempered like steel. Tonight, the air hummed with expectation. A message from the throne had summoned every rank, from thundering seraphim to gentle guardian angels. Yet one presence outshone them all. Lucifer arrived late, and everyone let him. When you burn that bright, schedules bend around you. Even Michael, vigilant as always, stepped aside to give the morning star room. A hush fell. The vaulted doors at the far end dissolved into white radiance, and God's glory poured in, a tide of living brilliance that made even the pillars bow like reeds in wind. Faces lowered, wings folded. Only Lucifer's jaw tightened, eyes fixed on that blinding light without flinching. From within the brilliance, a voice rolled out, strong yet gentle, louder than thunder yet softer than breath.
Children of light, beloved of my heart, gather close. I would speak of trust.
Every angel leaned forward. God rarely addressed them all at once. Moments like these became Star-Wars legends. He continued,
I have placed my light within you, each a reflection of my love. But remember, a reflection is not the source. Guard your hearts, for pride is a shadow that grows first inside the brightest flame.
Most angels accepted the counsel with humble smiles. Only Lucifer's lips curved, half pride, half impatience, as though the speech was aimed at everybody else. Pride? He thought. A small concern for smaller spirits. God's gaze, an intensity felt rather than seen, rested on him.
Lucifer, my son, bearer of dawn, your glow blesses creation. Yet be wary. A crown of light grows heavy when lifted by vanity alone.
A murmur rippled through the hall. Angels glanced from Lucifer to Michael, then back again. Lucifer forced a gracious bow, wings fanning like silk banners.
Father, your words are life. My light is yours to direct.
But inside his thoughts spat sparks. Does he doubt me? Does he not see I stand unshaken? The ember of pride flared. In silence, he vowed to burn brighter. So bright the Creator himself would have to shield his eyes. Hours later, Lucifer wandered the quiet paths alone. The gardens should have soothed him. Their fragrance once felt like music. Tonight, every blossom seemed to stare. Doubt is a quiet thief. It rarely kicks the door. It seeps through a thought left unguarded, steals peace, replaces it with restless echoes. Lucifer replayed God's warning, word by word, until the message soured. Why should he, the pinnacle of design, receive the same lecture as newly forged cherubs still learning flight? Did his faith not glow plainly enough for heaven to see? A footstep disturbed the hush. Gabriel approached, carrying a lantern jar filled with motes of dancing blue fire.
Brother, the gardens miss your song. Will you share a melody?
Lucifer offered a smile polished thin as glass. Maybe later. His tone carried winter. Gabriel set the lantern on a stone bench. The fireflies inside pressed against the glass, eager for release. He hesitated, then spoke.
The Father's caution was love, not doubt. Even diamonds need polishing.
Lucifer's eyes glittered. Polishing or grinding down? Without another word, he turned and vanished into the shadow of an obsidian arch. Few angels visited this place after their first millennia of curiosity, but Lucifer arrived often lately. He drifted down aisles, trailing fingertips across histories, prophecies, blueprints of galaxies unborn. Knowledge can humble or inflate. In Lucifer's hands, it became a mirror reflecting only his brilliance back at him. He paused before a record labeled First Light. It detailed the moment God spoke, "Let there be," long before material stars flamed. The line describing Lucifer's own creation glowed brighter than the rest.
Sculpted first, crowned brightest.
Farther on, a tablet displayed a prophecy still sealed by divine order. A lock of pure energy barred the text. Lucifer stared, tempted. What secret might elevate him even higher? A voice shattered the hush.
These halls record glory, not feed it. Walk carefully, brother.
Lucifer pivoted, face neutral. Michael stood at the row's end, wings folded, expression unreadable.
Is curiosity itself a crime now?
Curiosity fuels wonder. Pride sets wonder on fire. God warns us so the blaze won't spread.
Tension sparked between them like charged air before lightning.
Perhaps some fear flames because they have none.
Michael's jaw tightened. He chose silence, turning away before his temper spoke. But as he left, his last words echoed.
Remember who lit your spark? Morning star.
The shift was microscopic but spreading. When Lucifer entered a chamber, conversations paused an instant too long. Smiles came slower, eyes glanced away quicker. Heaven could sense imbalance the way a body feels a fever before heat rises. God watched, silent, patient. Mercy often waits to rescue until every choice is clear. A clarion blast summoned Lucifer alone. He approached down a golden bridge, head high yet shoulders tense.
Your heart trembles like a candle in wind. Let my breath steady it. Choose humility, and your light will flourish.
Those words, offered in love, pierced deeper than any spear. To Lucifer, they sounded like pity, worse like doubt. He rose.
My Father, I question only to understand you more. If my flame flickers, it is only reaching higher.
A flame that climbs too far forgets the hearth where it was born.
Silence thickened. Finally, God spoke once more.
Soon a greater revelation comes. Anchor yourself in trust, or the winds will carry you into darkness.
Anger, raw and sharp, coursed through him. Darkness? He scoffed internally. I am dawn. No night can hold me. He stepped into a gallery of living murals. Images shifted across the walls. The birth of nebulae, laughter of infant worlds, angels dancing upon rings of Saturn yet unformed. Overhead, a skylight revealed the endless canvas of heaven. Yet all this grandeur now felt small, cramped against Lucifer's swelling ego. He spread his wings, letting their edge graze a mural depicting his own first song. The paint rippled, distorting the memory. A crack formed, tiny but spreading like frost on glass. Lucifer smiled, a blade-thin curve. Even the walls remember me. Wordless rumors pass faster than wind. By dawn's next cycle, archangels traded uneasy glances. Guardian hosts whispered behind folded wings. Something was wrong with the morning star. Michael sought counsel with Raphael and Uriel in a chamber of polished obsidian.
I feel sickness in the air, but heaven knows no disease.
A mind can sicken long before a body.
Michael clenched his fists. He loved his brother of old, yet loyalty to God stood higher than friendship.
If war comes, we fight for truth, not ego. Pray it never comes.
Inside, the walls were mirrors. Lucifer stood at the center, reflections infinite. Each one bowed to him. The dangerous thing about mirrors is they never argue. Lucifer spread his wings, drinking in his own splendor until the room felt drunk with light. Then a thought struck harder than any trumpet blast. What if, he breathed, what if this throne of mine could rise? What if celestial order itself bent around me? In that instant, pride ignited into ambition, and ambition into resolve. He closed his fists. A current of raw power crackled down his arms, spiderwebbing across the mirrors. They shattered, shards hovering mid-air, catching light in deadly facets. In each broken piece, Lucifer saw not ruin, but multitudes of himself, an army forged from his own image.
If harmony fears a new chord, let the song be rewritten.
A single shard twitched, rotated until its point faced heaven's core, and shot away like a comet. Another followed, then dozens. The pieces flew from the spire, slicing through clouds of light, carrying with them the first seeds of open descent. He raised his hand, and the horizon's glow seemed to answer, flaring brighter, as if the dawn itself awaited his command. Thus the perfect morning tottered at the cliff of darkest night, and the song that once united a million voices began to divide into harmony and dissonance. Heaven stood moments away from a choice that would scar eternity. Lucifer stood at the crossing of three bridges, their crystal rails aglow beneath his feet. Above him, the sky pulsed with dawnlight, his color his brand. He waited, wings folded tight, eyes fixed on the horizon as though calling something from beyond sight. Soon, shapes emerged, 2 seraphim, for cherubim, and half a host of lesser angels gliding toward him. One by one, the newcomers landed, halos dimmed to hide their meeting. Though none spoke, their faces revealed the same uneasy spark Lucifer carried. He smiled calm, almost fatherly.
Brothers, sisters, welcome. You sense the tremor in paradise, do you not?
A golden blue cherub named Serial stepped forward.
We feel a tension, yes, but the Father warns us to guard our hearts.
Lucifer opened his palms. Light poured from them like liquid diamonds.
And guard them we shall. But against what? Against smallness, against the shrinking of glory. Listen, the Creator speaks of humility, yet installs limitations on our brilliance. Are we to wear chains made of shadows? To kneel before beings of clay? What if the order we serve has lost its vision?
The angels exchanged troubled looks. No one answered.
Free will was his gift, yes? Then let us use it. Imagine a realm where our music sets the laws, our light shapes new constellations. Imagine a future where none must dim for another to shine.
Serial's brows knit.
What you dream sounds grand, but is it righteous?
Lucifer's gaze softened, almost pitying.
Righteousness is simply light in motion. Let our motion blaze the path.
He extended a hand. After a breathless beat, Serial placed his own upon it. Another angel followed, then another, until dozens formed a circle. The deal was not sworn with words, but with shared resolve. Lucifer's grin widened. The first fracture of allegiance had formed. Heaven had no night, but it now learned twilight. Conversations halted mid-sentence when certain names were spoken. Laughter sounded forced. Even the rivers of light seemed to flow more cautiously, as though sensing rocks beneath. Gabriel arrived at his side, wings rustling.
The morning star gathers followers. Some say hundreds.
Michael exhaled, a plume of frost.
Numbers are smoke. Truth is stone.
Gabriel's gaze drifted to the distant spires where Lucifer held counsel.
Stone can be worn away by enough smoke.
Michael gripped the rail.
Then we stand as mountains. We do not break.
Hundreds of angels gathered, wings tucked. No official summons had gone out. Still they came, drawn by rumor and the electric pull of dissent. Lucifer floated above the dais, light rippling off him like heat shimmers.
My family, heaven is vast, but our greatness outgrows its walls. We are called to more. The Father gifts creation to beings of dust and bone, yet asks us, the very flames of worship, to bow. I say rise.
A hush followed. Then an angel in the upper tier, Azazel, luminous and lean, stood.
If we rise, what of his command? Will we not shatter harmony?
Lucifer spread his arms.
Harmony is not silence, it is chorus, and choruses change key. Let the new key begin with us.
And if Michael opposes?
Then Michael will have chosen smallness over glory.
Cheers, hesitant but real, rippled through the tears. Doubt melted into daring. Lucifer felled it, an amp of power no song had ever granted him. Pride, once a spark, now blazed as wildfire. Michael intercepted Lucifer. Spectral moonlight bathed them, casting twin shadows.
Brother, your words stir storms. Stand down before the winds break, all we cherish.
Lucifer's eyes glowed with starfire.
Storms cleanse stagnant air. Perhaps the age of obedience has grown stale.
Michael's hand rested on his sword hilt, a gesture, not a threat.
Obedience is not chains. It is harmony with truth. You are truth's herald, not its author.
Truth evolves, Michael, and I intend to guide it.
Lucifer laughed, musical but edged. They faced each other in silence. Around them, angels paused, sensing gravity of choice. Michael spoke once more.
Who is like God?
The ancient question rang clear, slicing tension like a bell. Some angels bowed heads in affirmation. Others shifted, restless. Lucifer's smile faded. He turned away.
Perhaps we will soon discover another answer.
He vanished in a burst of rose-gold light, leaving Michael staring into swirling mist. The perfect kingdom had never known civil dispute. Now every corridor hummed with the electricity of pending choice. Some clung to Michael's steadfast faith. Others gravitated to Lucifer's vision of self-drawn destiny.
Peace cannot endure when hearts fracture. We must prepare.
Raphael dipped a feather in living oil, writing healing sigils across shields of light.
I pray our preparations will never be used.
Yet both new prayers sometimes meet virtue in battlefields. God's presence filled the chamber like sunrise over oceans. Voices fell still. Even Lucifer, radiating defiance in every feather, felt that timeless pull.
Beloved, my heart overflows. I will create a material universe, and on one world will walk beings fashioned in my image.
Gasps fluttered across the assembly. God continued,
Into that world I myself will enter, my son, clothed in flesh. In that humility shall shine the fullest face of love.
The words struck like meteors. Countless angels erupted in exultant praise. Yet Lucifer stood frozen, eyes blazing with disbelief bordering on offense.
Bow to flesh.
God's voice went on, revealing the drama of salvation, the cross, the redemption of dust-born souls. Each phrase hammered Lucifer's pride deeper into fury.
Kneel and bless this mystery.
Michael dropped to his knees at once, sword planted tip down, wings draped in worship. Gabriel, Uriel, host beyond count followed. Lucifer remained standing. All eyes drifted to him. A silent chasm opened between obedience and pride. He lifted his chin, words scraping like ice on stone.
No.
The single syllable cracked heaven's stillness. Some angels gasped. Others, those already lured by his vision, straightened their backs, emboldened. God's sorrow filled the room like twilight.
Your choice seals paths, morning star. Turn back, and light will heal you.
Lucifer's wings flared, throwing shards of rainbow across the floor.
I will not kneel to clay, nor call humility glory. If love requires surrender of divinity, then love is a cage.
Shock rippled. Michael's eyes brimmed grief.
Brother, remember the light that birthed you.
Lucifer pivoted, addressing the gathering.
Who among you will rise? Who will stand as flame unbound?
One by one. First Azazel, then Serial, then hosts of radiant warriors. Angels left their knees and joined him. Their halos dimmed to crimson, matching Lucifer's defiant glow. God raised a hand. Silence swallowed turmoil.
Freedom is yours, even unto darkness. Choose and be known.
The faithful remained kneeling. The rebels gathered around Lucifer, resolve hardening like cooling steel. Heaven itself seemed to tilt beneath the weight of decision. Lucifer opened his wings wide, wider than ever, and the room flooded with rose-gold radiance so intense it stung the eyes of those kneeling.
Then let there be our dawn.
He and his legion burst upward, shattering the throne room ceiling into fragments of light. Their exodus drew a scar of fire across heaven's sky. Beautiful, terrible, undeniable. Angels still loyal gathered around him, shaken yet resolute. The sky beyond roiled, red dawn against gold day, a storm brewing between realms.
Prepare. Love will defend itself.
As the tremor of rebellion rolled outward, heaven, a realm once free of time, felt the clock of conflict begin its first tick. The storm had gathered. The war of light and shadow was now inevitable. From the wound of rebellion, day and dawn bled together. And in the place where colors merged, war was born. Michael steps onto a platform of transparent crystal. His armor glows pale white, etched with runes of faith. The sword in his fist hums with silent flame.
Brothers, sisters, today love must carry a shield. Stand firm, not for power, but for truth. Remember, who is like God?
A roar of affirmation surges through the host. Plumes of radiance shoot skyward from every breastplate. Halos flare gold, bright as new stars. Raphael, robes lined with healing light, moves through the ranks, pressing palms to shoulders.
Courage. I will mend you if shadow breaks your feathers.
Uriel hefts a war hammer, blazing with comet fire.
Let pride learn how hard light can strike.
Lucifer stands atop the tallest spire. His wings, once pearl, now ripple with molten rose and ink-black veins.
Children of dawn, the old order trembles. Tonight we carve a new horizon with our own fire. The throne of limitation falls, we shall raise one forged of will.
Azazel kneels, offering a spear wreathed in violet flame.
Command, and skies will break beneath us.
Lucifer accepts, spear crackling in his grip. He turns to his army, cherubim armored in jagged obsidian, seraphim whose songs now burn dissonant and fierce.
Strike swift, strike sure, and when the smoke clears, let only our light remain.
The legion erupts in a cry like shattering glass. Wings beat, sending shockwaves across the ember sea. Above the gardens where lilies once whispered, far beyond the forges where stars were minted, armies who had sung together now drew blades meant to silence each other. As they close, the mid-heaven, a vast corridor of suspended bridges and open sky, becomes the battlefield. Sun-sized lantern orbs line the causeway, flickering under the weight of tension.
Brother, stand down. Return, and the Father's mercy will bathe you clean. I outgrew mercy the moment I outshone its boundaries. Tell your loyalists to yield, and I will grant them seats beside me.
Michael's grip tightens on his sword.
No throne built on pride will stand.
He lowers his blade to guard stance.
I beg you, last chance.
Lucifer's smile is a crescent moon, beautiful cold. He swings the violet fire spear in a slow arc.
Then let the heavens witness which dawn is truer.
He springs. Michael charges. Sparks crash where sword meets spear. Shockwaves ripple out, rattling the mid-heaven like a drumskin. Seraph Hadronil descends with a torrent of fire song, notes scorching crimson helms. Rebel cherub Nasir counters with a whirlwind of shadow shards. On a lower bridge, Raphael faces Serial.
I never wanted war. Then lay down your sword.
Serial hesitates, too long. Raphael sweeps his staff, knocking Serial's blade away, but spares him a killing blow, murmuring a prayer of healing even for his foe. Lucifer whirls, spear tip grazing Michael's cheek. A flare sparks.
Feel that, shield bearer, the old order bleeding away.
Michael answers with an upward slash, locking blades. Their faces inches apart. He whispers.
Your wound is deeper than mine.
He twists. The sword white edge sears through one of Lucifer's shoulder guards, slicing off a shard of corrupted light. Lucifer staggers, fury contorting his perfect features. A pulse of violet shockwave erupts from him, hurling Michael backward through a lantern orb. Glass suns explode, scattering prismatic shards across the battlefield. Uriel, hammer blazing, smashes through Azazel's spear haft, sending the rebel flying into a whirlpool of wind. Gabriel climbs skyward and unleashes a trumpet blast so pure it strips red halos back to gold on wavering rebels. Dozens fall to their knees in tears, awakening from pride's haze. Love fought not to destroy, but to awaken. Each blow of light tried to break chains around hearts, not shatter hearts themselves. But pride is stubborn stone. Many rebels, seeing companions relent, only burned fiercer. Enraged, Lucifer flies high above the melee. He thrusts his spear into the sky, as if stabbing the fabric of heaven itself. A rift gapes open, spilling black-purple vortices, winds that howl with voices of unfettered ambition. The torrent sucks broken lantern shards, fragments of bridges, even undecided angels toward a yawning void. Michael streaks upward, planting his sword into the rift's edge. White fire floods the tear, slowing its spread.
Stand firm. Anchor to hope.
Below, Raphael and Uriel command squads to link shields, forming shining breakwaters against the maelstrom. Loyal angels lock arms, wings, and wills. Their collective glow pushes back night winds. Yet the pull remains strong. 24 rebels, caught in their own storm, spiral into darkness, screaming praise for Lucifer's promised dawn, even as the abyss swallows them whole. Lucifer hovers at the vortex's center, eyes blazing.
Witness. Even void kneels to me.
Michael whispers a prayer, and runes ignite along his sword. Each rune of virtue. Faith, mercy, truth, love, humility. He dives. Lucifer thrusts his spear. Michael rolls under, slicing the spear haft in two. The violet fire gutters out. Lucifer reels, but conjures a blade of raw aurora strikes. Michael parries, then drives the rune blade through Lucifer's left wing joint. Crack! A scream, half rage, half heartbreak, echoes across heaven. The vortex shudders, its mouth shrinking as Lucifer's focus breaks. Michael pulls his sword free and catches Lucifer's falling body, gripping his brother by the wrist.
End this. Come home.
Lucifer glares down at the battlefield, rebels faltering as the abyss closes. Hatred and sorrow war inside him. For a heartbeat, his hand twitches, almost returning Michael's grip, but pride screams louder.
Better to reign in ruin.
With a wrench, he tears free, wings beating once, bloodlight scattering. He plummets toward the lower reaches of heaven, rebels rallying beneath him. The vortex snaps shut, leaving darkness scars and cloud veins. Michael hovers alone, sword dimmed, heart heavier than any armor. Raphael tends fallen on both sides, tears glowing like pearls. Gabriel gathers those redeemed by his trumpet call, guiding them back to the loyal host. Uriel plants his hammer in the crystal ground, sparks rising like fireflies.
We hold the center, but darkness regroups.
Michael nods, gaze distant where Lucifer vanished.
The storm's eye has moved, not died. We must be ready when it circles back.
He turns to the host.
Fortify every gate. Pray for those still lost. This war is for hearts before it is for crowns.
Angels salute, weary yet determined. Above them, the sky bruises purple, like twilight trapped between forever day and never night. Lucifer limps into the chamber, wing torn, aura flickering. Azazel and Serial kneel.
We bled them, yet victory slipped. What now, Morning Star?
Lucifer walks to a black mirror set into the rock. Inside its glass, faint images of a distant, newborn universe shimmer, galaxies budding like sparks.
We shift the war elsewhere. If heaven clings to its throne, we will claim new dominions, worlds of matter, flesh and soul ripe for shaping. Let us see how the Father fares when his dust becomes our forge.
He places a blood-streaked hand on a mirror. It ripples, revealing a blue-green planet spinning in darkness. Serial exhales, awe and dread mixed.
Will we attack them, this human seed, outright?
Lucifer's eyes burn with cunning.
Not with force, with whisper. We shall sow in them what bloomed in me, a hunger for more.
He turns to his legion.
Rest, rebuild, and ready your tongues of silver. The next blow will not clash steel, it will coax choice. And choice, once turned, is a lock few keys can open.
Rebels bow, invigorated by a cause that bleeds beyond heaven. Night had no place in paradise, yet the shadow of a single heart had forged dusk. The first clash ended, but the war's embers drifted toward worlds unborn. Michael lifts his gaze to distant space, whispering a prayer that drifts like snow.
Father, strengthen the fragile, guard the new creation. Let love outshine the wound in the Morning Star.
Above him, The firmament quivers, half grief, half hope. While heaven nursed its wounds, the Father spoke again. His words painted galaxies, kindled suns, and poured blue life into a young world called Earth. It was a jewel floating in velvet night, a stage set for hope. God breathed spirit into dust and named the man Adam. From Adam's side, he shaped Eve, bright as dawn on water. They walked the Garden of Eden in innocence, bare feet brushing grass that sang under every step. Up in the higher reaches of heaven, loyal angels watched and cheered. Their song poured like rainbows over the new world. Yet in the deep chasm below paradise, other eyes burned.
They are beautiful.
Lucifer's lips twist.
Beauty wrapped in weakness. They will rule soil and seed, while we sons of light wander exile. No.
Azazel grips his spear.
Strike them. End them.
Lucifer shakes his head. His torn wing twitches, still raw from Michael's blade.
Weapons made of force will wake heaven's armies. We fight with something sharper, choice.
He steps to a stone basin filled with liquid starlight. Claws of thought pull shapes from the glow. A slim creature, scales like jade, eyes bright with clever fire.
On earth, venom hides in velvet skin. I will wear subtlety.
The rebellion's captains gasp.
A serpent.
Silent, small, overlooked, yet a whisper from such lips can topple thrones.
He coils beneath a shaft of dim light.
Prepare the legion. Some will stay and hold our keep. Others will drift like shadows across the newborn stars, hunting hearts. But Eden is mine.
With a whip of emerald tail, he slides into the obsidian mirror. The surface wavers, then stills. Near the center stands the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Trunk smooth as marble, fruit glowing red gold like miniature suns. Eve approaches, arms laden with flowers. Her laughter turns the air bright.
So much trust in those eyes. A glass waiting for a single crack.
He coils on a low branch, positioning himself within Eve's line of sight, but not too near. Patience is a predator's craft. High in heaven's bright dome, Gabriel leans over a balcony of light cloud, eyes narrowed.
A dark ripple crosses Eden. Do you feel it?
Michael's hand tightens on a rune blade hilt.
Yes. Pride travels faster than starlight.
Raphael joins them, mantle of healing winds fluttering.
The humans must not face temptation alone. Should we warn them?
Michael gazes toward the distant throne, waiting. A warm breeze, God's silent answer, brushes his brow.
Free will must stand uncoached, or it is not free. We guard the garden's borders, but the choice is theirs.
He turns to Gabriel.
Ready your trumpet. If innocence falls, the world will need hope louder than despair.
Eve pauses under the forbidden tree, gaze lifted to its shining fruit. She tilts her head as if hearing faint music. A smooth voice wafts down.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Eve startles, spotting the serpent reclining like a rope of living jewels.
You surprised me, little guardian. Yes, it is beautiful, yet forbidden.
The serpent's eyes glitter.
Forbidden to protect you or to limit you.
Eve frowns, curiosity piqued.
God said eating it brings death.
The serpent lowers his head, voice thick with velvet doubt.
Death? You walk in gardens of life. Perhaps the warning means change. Change need not be a tomb. It can be a door.
He flicks his tongue toward a fruit glowing beside her face.
Look how it shines, as if it carries sunrise inside. Do you feel the pull? That is not danger, dear Eve. It is destiny.
In the meadow, Adam spots Eve beneath the towering trunk. He jogs over, hair catching sunlight.
Eve, love, what gleam distracts you?
She beckons him. The serpent remains still, eyes half closed, listening. Eve explains the serpent's words. Adam's brow knits.
We trust the Father's command.
Eve glances back at the fruit, uncertain but still safe. The serpent reads hesitation as opportunity.
Would a good father give children a gift and then hide the best piece? What if he wishes you to seek, to ask, to reach, so he may rejoice in your courage?
Adam opens his mouth, but the words blur. Lucifer's subtle power mutes his certainty, like fog blurring a mirror. Gabriel lifts the instrument. A pure, clear note pierces the heavens. On earth, the tone cascades through leaves like a breeze of resolve. Adam's eyes clear. He steps back from the tree. Lucifer's scales bristle. He retreats higher into the branches, masking anger. That night, moonlight paints Eden silver. Adam and Eve sleep in a grove of firefly lamps. The serpent glides near, gaze unreadable.
A trumpet buys time, but time is pliable. Each repeated question will chip away at their wall. One day, Gabriel's note will come too late.
He slithers toward a pool reflecting starlight and his own serpentine face. In the reflection, for a blink, Lucifer's angelic countenance flickers, eyes fierce, jaw set. He sets plans. Tomorrow a softer approach, maybe appealing to delight rather than doubt.
Michael struck my wing. I will strike his world.
He will wait for the moment when Adam's guard slips or Eve wanders alone. Pride taught him patience as well as defiance. In heaven, Michael convenes his captains beneath arches of crystal flame.
The serpent's coil tightens. We cannot choose for humans, but we may weave hints, visions, dreams, gentle nudges of conscience.
Raphael nods.
Let me stitch warnings into the dawn breeze, and healing into the moonlight. If they fall, perhaps the wound won't kill.
Uriel twirls a quill of lightning.
I'll brand the stars with secret stories, so future generations seek the higher light even in night skies.
Michael permits it, subtle acts allowed by divine law. Yet he knows Lucifer's cunning equals their caution. Eve dreams of a vast library of glowing fruit. Each fruit she touches shows visions. Endless knowledge, soaring power, songs that move planets. She reaches for one labeled wisdom. As her fingers brush its skin, an echoing laugh rolls through the dream. Lucifer's laugh. She wakes, heart racing, moonlight pouring through vines. Adam sleeps beside her, peaceful. Eve lies back, staring at leaves. Doubt swirls like mist. Dreams are doors. On their hinges hang choices only waking hearts can make. On this day, the garden held its breath. In heaven, hope and dread tied knots around every soul. And in the shadows, a serpent rehearsed the first lie that would echo to the ends of time. The serpent lies coiled upon a branch like a jeweled bracelet, every scale catching dawn's first blaze. His tongue tests the air, sweet with petals, ripe with innocence.
Patience crystallized into purpose. One tap on fault line, watch mountains break.
Below, Eve gathers fruit for breakfast, figs, pomegranates, sweet melon. Adam kneels at a nearby stream, cupping water that glows like poured sky. Eve pauses under the forbidden tree, eyes drawn once more to its radiant bounty. A single fruit hangs lower than yesterday, glimmering red gold.
Good morning, bright wanderer.
Eve looks up.
You again, little wise one.
Is it wise to ignore the most wondrous gift in your garden?
Eve rests a palm on the bark, heartbeat quickening.
A gift can be a test.
The serpent dips his head, the picture of respectful counsel.
Or a doorway. Tell me, have you ever wished to paint the sunrise instead of merely watch it?
Eve's lips part, wonder fighting fear.
Knowledge is paint, Eve. With it, you frame galaxies. Without it, you only see walls.
Eve, shall we walk west? The lilies bloom with the sun.
Eve hesitates, glancing at the serpent.
Adam, brave steward of soil, would you deny your companion the chance to bloom like those lilies?
Adam frowns.
We live in bloom already.
The serpent's eyes narrow.
Bloom without choice is a cage painted green.
A flicker of uncertainty darkens Adam's gaze. The serpent sees and presses.
Trust is not chains, but wings. Taste, see if those wings carry you higher.
Gabriel's trumpet rests against his chest, trembling.
May they turn away.
Raphael's hands glow, weaving prayers into spirals of light that float toward earth like seeds. Michael's eyes never leave Eden.
Love does not force. Even now, the Father's mercy stands ready.
Back in Eden, Eve stretches a hand. The serpent stays silent now. The lure speaks for him. Her fingers brush the fruit's warm skin. A thrill sweeps her bones, like sunrise crossing the marrow. Adam's breath catches. His hand half raises in warning, but he cannot speak. With a final hesitant tug, Eve breaks the stem. The fruit rests in her palm, glowing brighter than dawn. For a heartbeat, nothing moves. Birds hush. Wind stills. Even heaven's choirs go mute. Eve lifts the fruit to her lips. Her teeth pierce the flesh. Juice runs like liquid light. Knowledge floods her nerves. Sudden awareness of fragile skin, of throbbing pulse, of distance between her and Adam's soul. She offers the fruit to Adam, eyes wide, half awe, half fear. He wavers, but love for her outweighs dread of any word. He bites. Adam and Eve stare at each other, feeling the chill of self-perception. Where once they saw wonder, they now count flaws. Dirt on ankles, asymmetry in smiles. Heat of embarrassment climbs their cheeks. They scramble for cover, weaving fig leaves into crude belts. The serpent watches, satisfaction curling his tail.
And so clay cracks.
He slides away, scales brushing bark with a hiss like extinguished starlight. God's presence dims, not in power, but in sorrow, like a lantern veiled in mourning cloth.
They have chosen.
Michael bows, tears glowing.
Command us, Father.
Back in Eden, evening falls early, colors bruised purple. Adam and Eve hide among cedars, hearts pounding. A familiar sound drifts through brush. Footsteps like soft drumbeats of love, once cherished, now dreaded.
Adam, where are you?
Adam's shoulders shake. He steps out, eyes downcast.
I heard you and hid because I was naked.
God's gaze, felt rather than seen, caresses him.
Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree I commanded you not to eat?
Adam's gaze flicks to Eve.
The woman you gave me, she offered, and I ate.
Pain flickers across Eve's face.
The serpent deceived me, and I ate.
Serpent.
Lucifer, still in serpent guise, appears beneath the tree, scales dulled. He does not speak. Defiance glints in his slit eyes.
Because you have done this, you are cursed above all livestock and wild beasts. Dust you will eat all your days.
He adds words that pierce Lucifer deeper than any blade.
I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel.
Lucifer's pupils narrow. Beneath the curse, God plants a future victory, one that will shatter the rebel's dream. To Eve he speaks of sorrow and hope twined together. To Adam, toil and triumph mingled. Yet in each decree, mercy hides a rainbow in storm. God leads the trembling pair toward Eden's eastern edge. Tears streak their cheeks, regret clings like thorns. At the gate of the garden, a ring of cherubim materializes. Warrior angels wreathed in fire, swords spinning arcs of blue lightning. Gabriel lowers his trumpet, eyes shimmering with pity. Raphael passes Adam and Eve, brushing their shoulders with unseen balm, easing heartbreak, though not erasing it. Michael stands last, sword lowered in salute.
Hold fast to the Father's promise. Light will find you again.
He whispers. Adam nods, tears gleaming. Eve glances once more at Eden's blooming horizon, then steps into the vast unknown, hand in Adam's. As they vanish into shadowed plains, the cherubim cross blades. A wall of living flame roars up, sealing paradise.
You have wounded heaven's gem.
Lucifer holds up a fragment of Eden leaf, now browned.
One choice birthed a cataract of choices. Humanity will chase power, and in chasing, cleave from the Father. Their hearts will be ours to sculpt.
He sits upon the shattered throne.
But we must sow new snares, envy, rage, idolatry, each a string on which will play a dirge of empires.
Rebels cheer, weapons beating shields in raucous rhythm. When darkness writes its plot, light drafts a greater story. Gabriel traces the first line, a crimson path leading to a distant hill called Golgotha. Raphael marks each era with sigils of healing, prophets, judges, psalmists. Uriel forges timelines into constellations, so shepherds and kings will navigate hope. Michael kneels before the throne, sword laid across palms.
We failed to guard innocence, but we will guard promise. Send me where shadows gather. I will keep vigil until dawn.
God's answer flows as a warm radiance washing over them all. Exile seeded growth, wheat and weeds entwined. Humanity reached upward with one hand, clenched the soil with the other. And in secret corners, whispers wound their roots. Lucifer's legion walked unseen roads, fanning sparks of jealousy, teaching forged crowns to thirst for blood. Yet heaven breathed through conscience, dream, and star, lighting lanterns the dark could not snuff. Night under desert sky, a campfire crackles. Eve holds their youngest child, tears reflecting flames.
The garden's memory haunts me. Will the Father ever let us return?
Adam gazes at distant constellations.
He promised a healer. Perhaps not us. Perhaps one born of our line will open that gate.
He squeezes her hand. Somewhere inside their joined palms, a spark of faith flickers, refusing to die. High overhead, Michael watches, unseen, whispering a blessing onto the breeze. Inside his dark keep, Lucifer studies Earth spinning in the mirror. Lights bloom, first campfires, then city beacons, each a possible throne.
Let them build towers. One day, they will climb high enough to meet my dawn.
He turns, capes sweeping embers.
Prepare for Babel.
Thus began the long twilight between garden and redemption. Every heartbeat a battlefield, every choice a sword's edge. And the war of morning star and steadfast shield marched from clouds to clay, waiting for the promised heel to crush the serpent's head. Generations passed. Adam's children tilled soil, hunted under red moons, and traced the sky for signs of lost paradise. Some hearts kept the Father's promise alive. Others nursed the serpent's whispered hunger for power. Above, Michael and the loyal host shadow each age. A silent guard behind morning fog, a spark in prophets' dreams. Below, Lucifer's legion stalks alleys of ambition, seeding rivalry in every council hall. A chieftain called Nimrod strides across a construction site, cloak snapping in hot wind. Around him, thousands haul bricks baked blood red. Workers cheer. Dust rises like incense.
Stronger, higher. Let our city crown the heavens themselves.
From a nearby ridge, Serial, fallen cherub now draped in charcoal armor, observes. Beside him, Azazel drums gauntlet fingers on a jagged spear.
Mortals dream tal today.
Serial's eyes glitter.
Lucifer was right. Give clay ambition, it will build its own chains.
He descends beyond a dune, shifting to a robed stranger with eyes of burning topaz.
A tower that claws the sky. Nimrod sings my anthem and doesn't even know the tune's author.
He lifts a handful of Shinar dust, letting it spill. Each grain catches fire, glowing an instant with potential. Nimrod pores over a tablet sketch of spiraling ziggurat. The robed stranger, Lucifer, enters.
Vous let's a wanderer step past my guards.
Lucifer bows slightly.
One who brings word of stones that never crumble, of tongues that unite an empire.
Nimrod studies him.
Speak.
Lucifer circles a model of the tower.
Heaven's throne sat idle as floods scourged your ancestors. Build higher, etch your name on the sky, and the gods themselves will hand you their crowns.
Nimrod's breath quickens.
Help me, seer, and I will carve your name beside mine.
Lucifer's smile flickers like torchlight.
Names carved in clay fade, but a legacy of will, that endures.
He presses a finger to Nimrod's architectural tablet. Lines shift, redrawing into a steeper spire, reaching cloud tops. Gabriel joins, trumpet slung across his back.
The tower grows. Pride shapes each brick.
Michael's hand glows on his sword hilt.
Yet the Father withholds lightning. Free will must expose its own fault line.
Raphael arrives, bearing scrolls of newly written conscience set to whisper in honest hearts.
Too few listen. The hum of ambition drowns whispers of caution.
Michael surveys the plain, ants weaving endless brick chains. He sighs. Nimrod climbs a dais, arms outstretched.
Today, we rise from dust to deity.
The robed Lucifer stands behind, eyes reflecting flames from celebratory bonfires. A young mason named Elda watches, brow furrowed. She feels a tug at her chest, Raphael's planted whisper.
We build, but for what? A stair to heaven or a step into ruin?
Her friend shrugs, lost in revelry. That night, around smoldering pits, Elda speaks with elders. Doubt spreads in hushed tones. Some fear the tower taunts the true God. Others trust Nimrod's vision. Serial prowls the edges, listening. He motions a squad of shadow-winged scouts.
Quell the doubters, quietly. Fear is a fissure that splinters stone.
Scouts glide into alleys, bribing with coin, threatening with blade. Elda's grandfather is found at dawn, hands bound in mortar, warning scrawled beside. Silence the weak so the strong may sing. Fear mutes debate. Oriel sweeps a comet-bright pointer over the map.
Their unity cements pride. With one language, rebellion marches unchallenged.
Gabriel's trumpet hums, eager to blast truth. Raphael murmurs prayers of confusion to disperse tyranny, but hesitates. Divine command has not yet arrived. Michael kneels.
Father, show mercy that breaks arrogance before arrogance breaks the world.
Light answers, soft yet firm.
Go. Tangle their syllables. Free their minds from single-minded pride.
Michael rises, resolve blazing.
As you will.
On the tower's top tier, Nimrod consults his robed advisor.
Tomorrow we begin the ascent past Cloud Line.
Lucifer nods, but a flicker of unease crosses his face. He senses heaven's nearness. Suddenly, a gust scatters scrolls. Blue-white figures materialize around the spire. Michael, Gabriel, hosts of loyal angels, swords sheathed but eyes bright. Michael raises a palm, no blade drawn.
Let pride stumble upon its own tongue.
Waves of unseen force ripple outward. Workers below wake, startled, speaking, but their words twist into unfamiliar syllables. Friends stare, unable to understand. Orders scramble into babble of nonsense. Nimrod barks commands, yet even his voice tangles. Fear surges, confusion riots. Lucifer snarls, revealing golden eyes.
Cheap trick.
Michael's gaze is calm steel.
Love restrains force. Confusion may halt where swords would slaughter.
Lucifer's form flickers fiery, but he cannot attack without risking full heavenly retaliation. He vanishes in a plume of crimson smoke. By dawn, the tower site is chaos. Crews split by new languages argue, then fight. Bricks are hurled. Scaffolds crumble. Elda rushes into a street where two former friends swing hammers at each other, screaming incomprehensible insults. She shields a child as beams crash. The grand stair cracks, a slab slides, shattering wagon loads of mortar. The tower groans like a wounded colossus, its shadow tilting. From distant dunes, Sariel watches, frustration etched in shadowed brow. Azazel curses, spear striking sand.
Their tongues betray us.
Sariel hisses.
Lucifer will find other roads. We retreat.
They melt into dust storms. Michael and Raphael glide high above, unseen.
No blood of vengeance spilled, yet pride's throne falls. Mercy writes justice in softer ink.
In each departing clan, angels plant seeds. Courage in one, artistry in another, love of story in a third. Fallen captains gather, silent.
One language lost, but hearts still yearn upward. We will rule by mask, by idol, by crown. Let kingdoms rise and fall on strings we pull.
He surveys a star map, eyes settling on Egypt's fertile delta, then on future Rome. Uriel positions glimmering runes in constellations, shaping stories future prophets will read. For every throne pride raises, heaven plants a seed of humility, waiting for hearts that listen. Among the scroll titles, Abraham, Moses, Ruth, David, names that will kindle hope. An unseen angel whispers to his heart about a promise of blessing for all nations. The shepherd smiles, feeling chosen. Towers fall, tongues scatter, empires churn like restless seas, but one current of promise runs deeper than serpent schemes. The battle for souls now spreads across continents, thrones, and generations, until the day heaven's own prince steps into dust. After Babel, centuries turned like grinding stones. Empires rose, empires bled, and every throne echoed with two voices, one of promise, one of pride. Yet in dark corners, prophets carried a whisper, a prince is coming. Lucifer, now wearing the face of a sleek Roman prefect, stands on a balcony with Azazel.
Wars forge new Babels every age, and in each ruin I will stand smiling.
So many rituals, yet one spark could burn their hope.
He turns, cloak whipping like a storm flag.
A spark? No. Let us forge a cross. Nothing breaks hearts faster than seeing their hero nailed to wood.
The fullness of time nears. The promise enters flesh tonight.
They streak toward Bethlehem, wings humming like harps. In a manger made for beasts, divinity took its first human breath. The infinite folded into an infant heartbeat, quiet enough to be missed by kings, thunderous enough to rattle hell. Shepherds arrive, eyes shining. Behind them, Michael stands unseen, sword sheathed, tears on cheeks of light. Above the roof, a star burns brighter than any since Eden. One mirror blazes, showing the Bethlehem star.
The prophecy moves.
Lucifer's jaw sets.
So the Creator plays pawn. We'll make the board bleed. Fly to Herod. Whisper fear of a rival king. Let swords reap infants until hope tastes ash.
He turns to Azazel. Azazel bows, wings slicing air, vanishing into dark corridors.
A child born to break your crown. Kill boys of Bethlehem. Leave no threat to destiny.
Herod's face pales, resolve turning cruel. Orders fly. Soldiers ride. Michael blocks a sword aimed at one infant, deflecting the blow, so the soldier's spear sinks into earth. Still the night runs red. Gabriel, trembling, lifts a lament to heaven.
So much pain for one dawn.
Even dawn bleeds before it heals the sky.
Lucifer watches from shadows, sometimes a merchant with calculating eyes, other times a passerby whose cloak rustles with unseen wings.
He learns meekness. Let's test its edges.
Lucifer appears, once more in angelic glory, restored wing gleaming. The desert war begins.
Turn them to bread. Feed your hunger.
Lucifer shows a sweep of kingdoms shimmering like jewels.
Bow and gain them without a cross.
Worship the Lord alone.
Finally, atop the temple pinnacle.
Leap, angels will catch you. Prove you're loved.
Do not test God.
Each refusal strikes Lucifer like hammer on brittle pride. He withdraws, face twisted but calculating.
Another arena then at Gethsemane, perhaps.
Gabriel and Michael appear as the devil leaves. They kneel, ministering strength to Jesus with bread of light. Every miracle punctures darkness, yet every sermon sharpens the cross waiting in future. Lucifer fans fear in temple rulers.
If he rises, Rome crushes us all. Better one death than downfall of a nation.
Council lamps smoke. Silver coins clink into Judas's hand. Michael watches unseen on rafters, sword glowing faint.
Hold, my king. The darkest path is closest to victory.
Lucifer stands behind a trunk, masking grin.
Father, if possible, let this cup pass, yet your will, not mine.
He rises steady. Soldiers arrive. Judas kisses. Gabriel wants to intervene. Michael grips his arm.
The enemy will strike his heel, but we wait for the moment the heel crushes.
Pride believed the cross would crown darkness. It only crowned love. On Golgotha, sky blackens at noon. Lucifer dances in stormwind as thunder masks his laugh. But at the 9th hour, Jesus cries, "It is finished," and earth shakes. Temple veil, tears, tombs open.
What no? This was my checkmate.
A crack of blinding light splits the realm of death. Jesus, in resurrection power, steps inside, keys of Hades in hand. Lucifer recoils, wings curling defensively.
Your reign is numbered.
He breaks chains off captive souls. They rush toward light. Lucifer flees back to his fortress, shrieking. Michael lifts his sword high over Zion's skyline. Loyal hosts erupt in choruses that shake mountaintops. Gabriel's trumpet blasts a victory theme that echoes Babel's plains and Eden's closed gate. 40 days later, Jesus ascends, clouds swirling gold. Lucifer glares from a distant peak, rage simmering.
If I cannot stop his blood, I will twist his bride.
He plots persecution, hypocrisy, crusades of ego in future centuries. Yet every wound births new faith, scattered like seeds on wind. The Prince of Peace conquered not by blade, but by sacrifice, rewriting war's rules forever. Yet the serpent still prowls, wounded yet whispering. From catacombs to cathedrals, from councils to computer screens, the conflict now hides in everyday hearts. Heaven readies final orders. Hell sharpens its last tricks. The story races toward revelation, where dawn and shadow will meet one final time. 2,000 years after the empty tomb, humanity built a second Babel, towers of glass, steel, and code. Tongues divided once, by heaven now reunite through fiber optic veins. Ideas race faster than angels, and every click carves new altars, some to truth, many to pride. Hidden in wires and wavelengths, shadows coil. Inside a data center lit by strobing alarms, a man in a charcoal suit studies cascading graphs. Market spikes, trending hashtags, election polls. Behind his irises, embers glow serpent gold.
One fruit, one click. It's all the same hunger.
Azazel materializes in a reflection, half seen.
The stage is ready, my lord. Chaos travels at the speed of Wi-Fi.
Lucifer taps a key. Across the globe, a rumor ignites, politics fracture, markets sway.
Let the world crave a savior of silicon and silver tongue. When they kneel, I'll crown him.
Gabriel's trumpet quivers.
False prophets fill every feed. Should I sound the warning?
Michael's eyes narrow.
Not yet. The final sign must unfold.
Raphael traces finger over the window. Beneath it, hospitals brim, storms rage, hearts break.
So much hurt, the harvest of unchecked pride.
Cameras flash as a charismatic leader named Adrian Valor steps to the podium. Handsome, articulate, he promises peace treaties, debt erasure, miracles of biotech. Crowds chant his initials. AV, AV. In the balcony, Lucifer smiles behind mirror glasses.
Beast masks as benefactor.
Adrian's speech ends with a gesture, thumb and forefinger touching to form a subtle serpent coil. Most miss it, spirits do not. A thunderclap of divine voice.
The hour draws near. Let the Lamb open what pride once forced shut.
Light bursts. The first seal breaks. White horse rides forth on earth. Conquest cloaked as diplomacy. Michael grips his sword.
Adrian Valor's crown is the first hoofbeat.
Gabriel bows.
Then war, famine, and pale death will follow. We must guard the remnant.
Serial stokes conflict from boardrooms to border posts.
Peace sells better when war looms larger.
Food shortages follow corrupted supply chains. A graphite-winged demon poisons crops with engineered blight. Markets crash, riots ignite. Amid chaos, two fiery prophets appear in Old Jerusalem, clad in burlap, voices booming like shofars. Flames whirl around their feet. Miracles accompany their words calling for repentance. Crowds swarm live streams of their sermons. Some cheer, others hurl stones that turn to ash mid-flight. Lucifer watches through a hologram wall.
Dustmen dare defy me again.
He sends agents with drones and lies, but every assault recoils as thunder. For 1,260 days, the witnesses stand unbowed. Gabriel hovers invisibly above them, trumpet muted but ready. Across continents, temples to vanity rise. Augmented reality cathedrals where worshippers adore avatars. Gene-editing spas promising Edenic perfection. Algorithms predicting desire before desire awakens. The serpent's gospel, you shall be as gods, now delivered in 8K clarity. Believers grow weary, persecuted by laws branding faith hate. Underground churches sing in whispers. In night alleys, angels wrap unseen wings around them. Adrian Valor steps forth with a global address, urging unity under his biometric mark. Without it, no one buys or sells. Lucifer stands beside him, unseen, proud.
Seal them with fear, bind them with convenience.
Those who refuse flee to wilderness tribes. Michael's host guides them by dream, star, and sudden road-closed miracles. Day 1261. Lucifer unleashes the beast militia. The two witnesses fall in Jerusalem Square, bodies untouched for 3 days as the world celebrates on social feeds with serpent smile emojis. Gabriel weeps lightning, trumpet trembling.
Shall I sound now?
Michael lifts hand.
Wait for breath.
On the third day, God's voice thunders, rise. The witnesses stand, flesh healing in blue fire. Terror grips the world as they ascend into a storm cloud. Lucifer howls, shattering hologram screens in every stronghold.
Enough. Ready the valley of Megiddo. Let man and demon break the sky.
Valor rallies 10-nation coalitions under a black flag bearing the stylized serpent. Fallen angels stalk ranks, invisible yet influential, whispering rage. Serial rides a stealth bomber. Azazel commands robo-legions. The Euphrates dries. A path opens to the valley. In the celestial stables, white horses stamp on floors of cloud silver. Armor gleams with morning light that never fades. Michael tightens a mithril cinch.
For Eden's promise, for Bethlehem's child, for Golgotha's victory, ride.
Gabriel lifts his trumpet. Raphael straps a satchel of healing leaves. From the throne, the Lamb, eyes like blazing mercy, mounts a stallion whose mane glows cosmos blue. People across nations look up, children, soldiers, cynics. Some drop weapons, others raise them in futile defiance. Lucifer stands atop a ruined tower in Megiddo.
Come then, Lamb. Meet the lion you discarded.
Wings outstretched, armor bleeding rubies. Thunder answers. White fire cavalry pours through the rift, led by the king. Michael's sword erupts pure sunlight. Gabriel's trumpet blasts a note that flips the poles of every compass. The cosmos holds its breath. Millennia of war. Seen and unseen, balance on one heartbeat. Dawn and darkness face the final horizon. Lucifer's spear of shadow elongates, black lightning crawling along its edge. Michael's rune blade burns pure white. Each rune, faith, hope, love, truth, shining brighter than before. The war that began with a thought now ends in a breath. Lucifer drives Michael downward, crater punching a ridge. Dust billows. Michael rolls free, wings shredded but burning with determination. Soldiers on every side stare, weapons lowered, minds flooded by Gabriel's trumpet note still humming in their ears, pointing hearts like needles to true north. Some weep, realizing they march for pride. Others clutch rifles tighter, terror hardening them. Adrian Valor, the beast, stand atop a command tank, face pale beneath the serpent flag. When the trumpet blasted, the mark on his hand seared crimson. He yanks a hidden pulse pistol, but it crackles useless, circuits fried by holy resonance.
You were always lesser, shield bearer. Why do you keep rising?
Because love keeps standing back up.
He swings. Lucifer blocks, but the shadow spear splinters another inch. Purple sparks rain. High overhead, the king on his white horse watches, crowned blazing many diadems. His eyes, fire and ocean, reflect sorrow and resolve. He lifts a hand. From the king's mouth issues a word, quiet, unhurried, spoken in a language older than creation. Sound ripples like concentric halos. The missiles still hanging mid-air crumble into dust. Tanks rust in a blink. The serpent flag wilts, its symbol shriveling into ash. Lucifer hears the word and staggers. The runes of his former glory glow along the torn edges of his wings, reminding him who he used to be. Rage detonates.
I will not bow.
He hurls the broken spear, roaring. The king simply looks at it. The spear dissolves into harmless mist. Lucifer falters, hovering, eyes wide. A hush falls. Michael advances. His sword, now thrumming with the king's spoken power, gleams brighter than sun on snow.
It's over, Morning Star.
He swings. The blade cleaves through the last shard of shadow on Lucifer's chest. Light floods the wound, not like fire, but like morning. Lucifer's wings shatter into motes. His crown of pride melts. The ground beneath cracks open, a fissure glowing with molten twilight. Chains of living light whip upward, coiling around Lucifer and every rebel angel still standing. Gabriel's trumpet cries one final, exultant note. The heel descends, the serpent's head breaks. The chains drag Lucifer, Azazel, Sariel, the beast, the false prophet, all pride's architecture, into the abyss of burning sulfur. The fissure seals like a wound stitched by lightning. Silence drops, thicker than snow. The king dismounts upon a ridge of wildflowers suddenly blooming from scorched soil. He stretches nail-scarred hands. Light pours, soaking battle wounds, healing earth and sky. Soldiers drop to knees, some sobbing in relief, others in repentance. Weapons dissolve into seeds. Winds carry the seeds across fields where they sprout into olive saplings. Peace growing where war once stood. Michael kneels before the king, sword lowered. Gabriel, Raphael, and every loyal host fold wings in worship. The garden lost is a garden restored. Yet not the same Eden, but a city garden where art and nature dance together, where work and worship are one song. Humans of every tribe stream toward the gates, faces radiant. The king wipes tears from each eye. Grief becomes memory without pain. Michael walks among them, sword now a plowshare, carving furrows for vineyards. Gabriel teaches children to play celestial melodies on harps fashioned from starlight and cedar. Raphael plants trees whose leaves hum with healing. On a hill of soft grass near a crystal river, Michael finds a familiar silhouette. Lucifer's first feather, whole again, lying like a reminder in the grass. He picks it up. The king approaches.
All light began in you, even what fell.
The king smiles, eyes full of unending dawn.
And all stories finish in me.
He touches the feather. It dissolves into golden pollen, whisked away on a new world's breeze. No stain remains. Mountains glow emerald, seas shimmer sapphire. The city pulses heart-like, each beat a festival. Night is no more. Lamps retire. The sun itself bows out, for light walks among his people. Michael looks up. No battlefield, no enemies, only horizons brimming with unopened adventures. He sheathes his sword for the last time and laughs, a sound like bells rolling down hills. The brightest star fell, but dawn could not be quenched. The war of pride and love raged through heavens and history and loved one. The story is finished, yet it forever begins. Your heart is now the next canvas. Choose well which voice you heed, whisper of pride or anthem of light, and let every step write a chapter worthy of dawn. If this epic moved you, journey deeper. Click the next story and discover wonders no eye has seen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the light.